Ugh. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, no, that's fine. I applied a LUT to my video, and I thought for a second it was in the whole video. But it's not. It's not. That was just the sunset. I've had to redo my stuff on ye old OBS since the catastrophe from a couple of weekends ago, or last weekend, or whenever it was. The catastrophe that was that time that I tried to stream, and it didn't work. I have coffee. My Unity mug that I've been using for years and years, and I really liked, broke during a game dev show, so now I'm using this one. My friend gave me this, and I appreciate that, but it's plastic. The entire thing's plastic. I don't like that, but it'll do for now. The one from Unity I got years ago at, I think, a GDC or a Unite or something. Somehow I got it, and I would always close it very tight, and I think I would close it too tight. And then the other day during a game dev show, I closed it tight and went, snap. Hello, Twisted Wizard. It took me a bit to read your name. By the way, wait, I thought I had it up. By the way, I'm starting documentation on this projectile system way down. Where is it? Right down here. Whoop, nope, not that one. Here, to keep myself organized, because I get confused about my own stuff sometimes, you know, because I'm still working on it. But, by the way, go to infinitypbr.com. I should show you the right way. Go to infinitypbr.com. Before you go to the asset store, always go to infinitypbr.com and click this button. This button is my affiliate link. I appreciate it. You can see all the cool stuff. Go up here and get 5 free assets. All of these. This one from Malbers and this one from Aquarius Max. Those are my top picks from this group. You read up on them. And also, flash deals are coming back. They're in preview mode right now. So you can see all the sweet 70% off flash deals. And of course, if you search the PBR Magic Pig Games, see that in 11 days, 11 very long days, Game Modules 4, which you probably already have because you're my favorite people, will be 70% off. So, there you go. Yes, I do. For 2 reasons. One, a lot of it's not going to change. You know, I think the biggest changes actually are going to be with screenshots as I change the UI. Because if I do go back to the documentation, which by the way, if you go to Infinity PBR, the scripting docs button right up there brings you to the documentation. The screenshots are the only thing that's going to change. This already changed. Like I moved destroy delay to the top. So this already changed, but I'll update that at the very end. But this keeps me in line. And as an example, as I was writing this page, I got very confused, and then I realized I titled the page wrong because we're working with projectiles and particles here, and too many things that sound the same, and I was getting very confused as I wrote my own documentation. But that's why I started doing as well. And oh my lord, the AIs, I even went old school, sent them this and said, does this help you solve it? Because I couldn't solve it. We're gonna have to start new AI conversations today, I think, because let me show you. Let me just show you what the F I'm talking about. So last night I got very easily, once I got past the last thing I was doing, I got this done. And so this is just a lob. I'll angle it up and we can lob it. And now you notice it's not landing in the same spot every time. And that's because I have a little bit of inaccuracy built into it, which is nice. So this is a physics shot. and we have inaccuracy 0.1. So if I were to put that at 0, and I think I need to restart in order to... Oh, no, I don't. So 0.0 0 inaccuracy means it's going to be on target. If I do point... We'll do something extreme. 0.5 inaccuracy, it's going to be all over the place. Right? So it's all over the place. It's shooting at random directions. So I find that 0.1 is a very pleasing amount where it's like, okay, it's not the most accurate thrower of missiles or whatever. But these are all physics-based. So this is a physics-based missile. It's very simple code. That's all it is. I mean, there's a little bit more. There's this code as well. There's more code in the utilities. So, but it's very simple in the end. Did you? Jihad, do you do 3D modeling and stuff? Yes. Piqued my interest, by the way, if you didn't notice. And then the other thing that I started doing was archery, because that was my real goal with arrows. But this doesn't work. This just doesn't work. Right now it's going. You can see my debugs, and I'm gonna start over because it's just not working. Like it's all over the place, not working. So I'm gonna start from scratch. Sometimes you just have to say screw it. Everything I did last night was just a learning experience, not a waste of time, just a learning experience. And so if we look, let's go straight into it. We're gonna look at our archery projectiles. Our arrow is using the arrow shot. The arrow shot is a target accuracy movement behavior. Now, why is this going to be target accuracy? Because whereas the physics shot was like, hey, I'm going to shoot this forward, but I'm a little inaccurate, so I'm going to do, I guess you could say it's sort of like is it an input inaccuracy where the person doing the firing is inaccurate, so that's where the inaccuracy comes from. Whereas target inaccuracy is going to say, okay, I have a target, but I don't want to be perfectly accurate on that target. So I'm going to get the target, compute a distance inaccuracy from that target, and then compute backwards the angle at which I need to fire and hit a randomly selected position within that inaccuracy, which might be the target, might be a little bit off. That's why I want for the arrow, so that in my game, as they get better, their inaccuracy goes down, and also as the target's further away, the inaccuracy goes up. So it's a little bit more realistic in that. Interesting, Jihad. You should email me. We should talk. We should talk. Because as you know, I don't do modeling. I do texturing though. I'm pretty good with that in Substance Suite. And I'm all about producing new content, and I've currently been unable to move forward with some projects because I don't have a modeler to work with. So email me if you're interested in a part-time side gig. My email is contact@infinitypbr.com, but you can also find me on Discord, as you know. So you can just Discord me. That's probably better, actually. Discord me. Email gets buried. I feel bad, but my email, so much spam. So much spam. I started two new email addresses. One that is for no spam. One is for all the spam. And people laugh when I give them the all the spam one. Because my normal email addresses, I don't want to use them anymore. They're just too full, and I don't even like. You could take a week to go through all to unsubscribe to everything, but just in another month it's back because they keep selling your email address. You know, I get emails and text messages from my mom for some reason because somehow my email got attached to her. Anyways, the modern world. Anyway, so target accuracy movement behavior. I'm gonna put some notes up here actually. This is a movement behavior that will target a point within X range of the specified target. to simulate some inaccuracy of the projectile's aim, such as an arrow. It is otherwise physics-based and computes trajectory based on the speed of the projectile plus the distance to the target. That's what it's supposed to do. Excellent, Jihad. You did? Well, I have to remind myself who you are. I apologize if I missed it or didn't reply. I try to reply to everything. Although I think we could also easily do a system that computes the trajectory based on the angle or computes the speed. You know, these are all interchangeable. In theory, you should be able to compute all of these. If you have two of them, you have the distance, angle, and speed. Those are the three things you need in order to hit a target. If you have two of those three, you should be able to compute the third. I don't know how to do it, but Mr. AI here, or Miss AI, or they AI, the AI, it probably is the most appropriate. Okay, so let's start over, right? We're going to start over here. I'm going to start from where I started yesterday, which was a good place to start, which is the movement behavior physics. And this is just add impulse. Basically, that's all it was. All right. And we got it still down there, so I'm just going to delete all this. We're not even going, well, I'll keep the spawn position. How about that? And I'll keep the speed. All right, I'm keeping those two, but other than that, and we'll say var launch angle equals 0. All right, so now we're going to test this. We've got our speed, we've got our launch angle, and that's that. And I'm going to take a different approach with the AI. Excellent. I'm glad it helped. I want you to get rich and then buy me a pool and thing. We're going to test this. All right, there it goes. It shoots out, shoots forward, applies impulse. Perfect, right? Now this is actually perfectly fine for a first-person shooter, you know, because you're just shooting an arrow and you get to aim yourself, and that's that. So that's perfectly fine, right? No big deal. But we want more than this. We're aggressive. We're an alpha coder. You know what I hate is all that alpha shit, all that masculine alpha, beta, sigma. I don't even know what it all means. But my friend's 11-year-old said something about a sigma, and I just assume it's a freaking Andrew Tate thing. He's fucking 11, you know? That's bullshit. Anyways, I'm very alpha about my feelings on that. All right, so this is what we got. It works. It's great, but we want a little bit more. So first, we're going to add a Boolean here. We're going to do public bool flatten launch angle equals true. I'm going to do it true. Yeah, we're going to do true. I don't know if we're going to use this, but I think we might. Tooltip is going to be when true, the launch angle will be flattened versus the world. So even if the even if the shooter is pointing up or down, the projectile will fire as if the shooter were flat. Does that make sense? So if my hand's here, like usually my hand's here and I shoot forward, it goes forward, right? But if my hand's here, shoot forward, it goes up there. I want it to still go that way. So the first thing we're going to do here is that. So we're going to talk to the AI here. So let's talk to our AI. I have a bool, flatten launch angle, and when true, I want the projectile to launch as if the shooter, or the spawn position is flat against the world. Currently, the spawn position can rotate up and down like a barrel of a gun, and the projectile fires forward from that, at that angle. When this rule is true, I want the projectile to fire at a flat angle when the launch angle is 0, regardless of the angle of the spawn position. Alright, let's see what it comes up with. Because that was one of the things I faced yesterday. That was, I think the AI was getting confused. Thank you, Jihad. I don't get that much spam on Discord. I just, during the week, I get busy with the day job. And then if it's a stressful week, at night, I'm just like doing other things and trying to, then there's friend stuff. And then my mom calls, or my mom wants me to go visit her, like a mom. Stuff like that. All right, so let's see. What's the big change here? We can read what it said, of course. From what you desire a projectile to fire a flat angle with respect to the ground. Yep. This would ignore the upward downward rotation. Yep. To accomplish this, you use vector 3 forward. Okay. But first, you need to take into yes, we do need to take account of the rotation. All right, so we're not changing these things, but we are adding this stuff. So we're going to just copy this and paste this, and then we will comment this out for now. What's this saying? So this is a vector 3. So we're going to get the... Okay. We should have told it was a vector 3. This is a vector 3 position, so should we get the rotation of the projectile spawner? I think that's what we should do. Okay. Spawn rotation. What is this? Okay, we're gonna have to do it like that because the actual rotation was the vector 3. All right. Speed. We already have speed. Now we're based on the spawner's rotation, launch direction. All right. There we go. And then we'll copy this back. Okay. Guess we don't need that. And what's the issue here? So this is requiring a float for the angle. So let's copy this, and we'll say apply impulse force is taking in a single float for launch direction. This is interesting. I suppose so I was about to ask the AI, hey, convert this to a single float on the Y. Boop, 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 boop. But this could be updated as well. Oh, let's see. Well, this is computing the new launch direction based on all that stuff. So is, do we want to... I'm not sure. I think I'll just ask you to do this. basically the y angle, up, down. Can we convert our direction to only pass in the y? I mean, it should be 0, right? I think. So now it's doing this. Is this any different? What's the difference here? That's the same. That's the same. It's doing the angle calculation that we do in here. Interesting. Okay. Let's try that and see what happens. I'm not sure. I can't read this easily because my trigonometry is not very good at all. All right, so we're gonna press play, and we're gonna look at our movement behavior, arrow shot. We have our flatten launch is true. Whoa! Flatten launch is false. All right, so clearly that's not right. All right, so something's up here. This is why last night I was frustrated and I ate a whole bag of chips. It was a small bag. It was like Fritos, the scoops with jalapenos, hot jalapenos, and a whiskey Coke while watching YouTube because I don't watch other TV. But I did eat a whole bag of chips. It was Friday night. What can I do? What can I do? Not Discord. Somebody said something. Yep. Yeah. No one told me game dev needed that. And also no one told me I'd be doing game dev. How many years, Han? 15 years after high school. But that was 10 years ago. 11 years now. I've been using Unity for 11 years. This is my 12th year. This I've got this mat on my table, this large mat. It's custom printed. It has this one little nubby bump right here that just, you know, wear over time, I suppose. And it's right where my palm lands. And I swear I thought I had rotated this whole thing around. I did rotate the whole thing around because it was getting grody. I need to get a new one. I don't want to because it's just plastic. Ah, bad for the environment. Okay. What's the world we live in? It's a wonderful world. It's a terrible world. All right, so this isn't working. I think the value we pass in needs to be 0, right? I mean, I'm going to try that. I'm just going to pass in 0. I guess 0 is the default. I'm going to pass in 0 and just try it because why not? It's the world. I can do what I want. Alright, no. See, this is the problem. It's not 0. We need to pass in a negative value that's opposite what the angle of the thing is. Okay. I think we need to compute the angle of the still streaming, right? It looks like I am. Alright, yesterday my stream just cut out. My internet just cut out, but we need to compute the angle of the spawner and then pass that and then pass the negative value of that versus the flat, right? Why is it doing this? Is it my internet? My internet's fine. Okay, good. Yeah, because that's all we're really trying to do. We know it's angled up. We just need to remove that. Nope. What's the value it's producing here? Just move this back. Months ago I moved Rider from here to next to Unity, or next to Unity. And ever since then, I've just been moving my mouse down here and accidentally clicking on Discord. So I'm moving it back. Don't fight the man. See, this is the problem. No, I can't, because when I did that, it would still fire up, because apparently apply impulse force is applying it forward. So it's relative to the spawner. So we're trying to negate that. That's it. You would think it would be that easy, but for some reason, the code flat launch is -80, -180. It's not negative. It can't be -80. All right. All right. So there's more to it. Okay. The value flat launch angle is -180, which isn't the case. It should be closer to 0, as we are only a bit angled up. So I think there must be some additional computation to ignore perhaps parent rotations, etc. Can we isolate this rotation of the spawner, ignoring all parents, etc.? You know? I don't trust it. I'd have to show you the code, I think, in every area code. It's still saying -180. The frustration I had last night. So the apply impulse force just does add force to the rigid body, which is a forward direction. It does have this launch angle, which is 0 by default, which means forward. And if I make this higher, so if I just hard code, let's say, I'm going to hard code in my thing, we're just going to say -10, right? So this should, if I angle the barrel up, it should shoot down just a little bit. Oops. Error. Oh, look at that. It's going all over the place. That's weird. That's weird. So maybe it's this code that's messed up. Code, please. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I'm all bent out of shape here. I think it might be this is the issue. So I'm passing a launch angle. In my head, I was thinking, hey, we're just trying to go up and down. and that's what this is. But I think it might be better to, I'm not sure. So I'm gonna switch to a different AI. We're gonna switch to a different AI to see if we can get a different answer here. We're gonna do a new one. We're on 4. Okay, so in this method, I add force to an object, and the what is it? Launch angle. Launch angle is intended to be the up-down angle. However, I think we need to adjust this and make it. I mean, it's taking the rigid body. And make it adjust the angle by launch angle, taking into account the rigid body position or rotation versus the world. This might mess up the other one that already works, but we'll have to fix that then. To adjust the launch angle, taking the rigid body's position and rotation relative to the world, you can modify the way you calculate launch direction. Instead of rotating around the rigid body's local right axis, you could rotate around the world's right axis, which is global. Uh-oh. Maybe I should be more clear. When launch angle is 0, I want this to fire forward on the from the rigid body's perspective. I'd like to. Is that right? No, I think what I want to do is I need the launch angle to now be independent of the rigid body rotation. So that should be a quaternion, and then regardless of the rigid body rotation, the angle will always be based on the launch angle. Does that make sense? See, it's still taking in launch angle as a float. I don't. That's not what I'm asking it to change. Okay. Step 1. Change float launch angle to quaternion launch angle. Yes, that's the first step, right? The rigid body is actually on the projectile itself. That's one of the things here, is that the thing being shot, the arrow, is the thing with the rigid body. It's just spawned. Oh. Is that the issue I'm facing? Because the arrow has the rigid body. It's spawned facing this direction. So relative to, yeah, that's where I still want it to, I still want to be like, hey, even though you're facing up, rigid body, you need to fire that direction. Copy code. Alright, so this is a new version of this, where we have a launch, and it's saying force equals impulse force. Launch direction is launch rotation forward. Create a random inaccuracy offset. Okay. We're still doing that. All right, so now let's try to go back here. Wait, we still have the other version. This didn't change, right? Hold on. Because I think I accidentally may have. No? No. Okay. This one didn't change. Oh, but they have the same signatures because this one is 0. Alright, so we need to make this A0F. Be specific about that. I'll have to change that later. But now this one, however, let's just... Okay, great. Now, this portion of code takes the rigid body on a projectile, which may be angled up or down, and adds force. However, it needs to negate its current Y angle, not XZ, so that even if it's angled up, it will apply the force flat forward in relation to the world. Let's see if it works. Not entirely sure. No, me neither. None of us are. How can we be sure in this world of anything? This someone mentioned in the chat velocity. And I wonder if that's the solution. The problem with the AI is after a while it starts remembering the past things that weren't right, and it just harps on those. Like it can't back off, you know? Okay. Alright, we are closer. This is closer. Now it's definitely doing it flat against the world. If we go down here, it's flat against the world. You can see that. It is firing up, but it's quickly rotating flat. Okay, but it's of course going the wrong direction. It's always going there. So, a little bit closer. And that's nice because Corey, was it you who said velocity? Somebody said velocity. See, I don't want to ignore all the rotation. I just want to ignore the Y rotation, you know? But that's okay. We're closer because this doesn't even use my fancy apply impulse force. Not this. Where's my AI? There it is. Okay. Okay, that's closer. We're good on the Y angle. However, we need to still fire forward on the XZ so that it's facing the same direction as the spawner, but always fires flat. And we have these values. I'm going to vector 3. The AI doesn't compute that this is a vector 3, so I'm going to say these to it. We have these values. Is that what I said? I think I said that. Didn't I say the opposite of that? But maybe it's restating in a different way. If you want to fire the projection, always fire flat in that plane. That's not that. See how did it not? Wait a minute. Where's the? Oh, I'm talking the wrong AI. Oh, stupid human problems. That's funny. I switched AIs in the middle of this, didn't I? Or something. It is. Corey, I find it both hard to visualize, and that's part of the problem. By the way, how do you all feel about the floating head in the upper right corner? It's faded out. Is it annoying that it's there, or is it fine that it's there? Stupid human, you were talking to the guy. We need to make a movie where that is a line. I'm not the AI you're looking for. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, why does it not work? I didn't even look at the code. Debug.log. Spawn forward is, whoa. That's a little bit too much. All right. Understand why that's needed. And then debug.log flat. Well, we don't need to restate that. All right. Oh, you didn't even notice it. Good. I mean, maybe good. Branding is important. All right, so we're saying spawn forward 0. Well, that can't be the case. See, this is the problem. Are we taking its local? No, we're doing some math on it. We shouldn't be doing the math on it, right? Because this is just going to make it 2 zeros. Won't this always make x and z or x and y 0 or something? Does it? Isn't vector 3 0 0 1? Yeah. So no matter what spawn rotation is, it's going to end up being 0 0 something. Am I not wrong? Okay, let's ignore this. Let's ignore this. Let's do another. Flatten the launch angle. I don't think that's right though. Okay, we're gonna go back to a new AI chat. We'll remember this one this time. I need help making the code work. I have the spawn rotation of a... Oh. Nope. Nope. Okay, what we need is projectile rotation. And that's going to be rigid body dot rotation. Right? Because this should be the rotation of that rigid body. All right. I have the rotation of our projectile, and I need it to fire in the same direction but flat, i.e. flat against the world ground. That's what I thought. But but still doing that. I'm still confused as to why that's not just 0, 0 something. But you know, sometimes you just gotta trust the AI. You know. Let's see what happens. I haven't checked anything. I think part of the issue may have been that rigid body issue. All right, okay. It's still okay. So let's do a thing. We're gonna do a thing. We're gonna say first. Let's debug log the projectile rotation. And see what that says. Because this is the problem. Is I don't know this. Is the rotation? Yeah, it's always 0. So this is. It shouldn't be. I want its rotation in relation to the world. So let's take a step back. This time we're gonna. Oops. This always returns a. Well, I don't remember what it was. I need this rotation to be in relation to the world. That doesn't even make sense to me. That's not even right. I feel like that's not even right. Somehow this rigid body, the arrow, thinks it's not rotated when it is in relation to the world. The value right now is apparently not rotated even when it 100% is not flat against the world rotations. Unless we are doing is race condition the right word here? I don't know. Okay, we can do that. We have the spawn, projectile spawner. Rotation. So we could try that. Rigid body dot rotation equals that. But instead we're gonna do dot spawn rotation. Let's try that. Just trying things out, throwing things and seeing what sticks. Okay, we're getting different values now. It's still going. I wonder. So if I just fire our value that, so we're getting the same value over and over. If I angle up, what changes? Mostly those two. If I go like this, what changes? Everything, mostly those two. All right. I don't know. I think the problem could be that when at this point in the code, the arrow doesn't know where it's facing. So it's because the arrow is instantiated, the rigid body is on the arrow itself. So when we get rigid body, this is the arrow. We can confirm this too. Debug.log rigid body is on rigid body dot Um, unless I shouldn't name it rigid body, that could be an issue too. Rigid body is on arrow clone. So it's on the newly spawned arrow. My thinking is that when it's spawned, it doesn't know what direction it's maybe until the next frame or something. I don't know for sure. That's just a hunch. And so we're going to give it the direction that the person is that the shooter is, and it's going to be the projectile spawner. I had the wrong value there. I said spawn position, not rotation. The autofill filled and I didn't read it. I didn't notice it. Let's see. Oh, well, that seems to change a lot of things, doesn't it? Uh-huh. That appears to be still going flat or something. It's hard to tell. Yeah. It's going flat. All right. Fuckers. Not you. Me, really. All right. So this apparently is now working. Now, which parts of this code aren't needed? Which parts of this code is see, I keep doing it now. What the heck? Maybe I need to move it over here. Okay. Which part of this code? Okay, so we're not using spawn position anymore. We gain our rotation. So this is ensure the projectile is facing the same direction as the spawner. Okay. All right, so this is only the first step. Let me just make sure everything else is working. If I take off that, then it should go in the direction of the arrow, the angle it's shooting at. It is. So that's your general FPS. Just you're aiming and firing, and you know, that's your skill. Toggle that back on and it should always be flat. There you go. So even as I go down, it stays flat. Now there's the position change that's happening. That's why it hits the ground there. But it's still shooting flat forward. All right, so that part's working. Step one done. I'm a little. I kind of. So what I don't like right now is I'm using the apply impulse force here, and I'm using a very different way of doing it here. So I don't really like that. It's getting the same result. So that's something. But oh, you know what? We might actually need to change this to be similar to that later. So it's gonna be a note. since this version computes the inaccuracy based on the target position, we need to get the angle to that target position, and that is the inaccuracy. Then we fire with 100% accuracy toward that position, which may be not the right position that the user wants, the player wants. So we may need to just use the same code as above, but without flattening it first, which is probably what we're going to end up doing. So I'm going to park that for now. We're going to go back up here, and now we need to figure out the launch angle, because we have a speed. We know how fast we want the projectile to go. We know where the target is, but I don't know what the angle it needs to be shot at in order to shoot that. So we're going to get that code. Now, I do have some stuff that I was working on last night. I'm going to delete this because we're not going to use that. This calculate launch angle. And we're going to redo this. I think it's going to give us a very similar result. But just delete all this extra stuff. It's going to give a similar result, I think, but we're going to try to actually make it work this time because it wasn't last time. And I think we're at a better starting point now that we have our flattened angle. Because in order to do this, we really need to do... Actually, in a way... So... my brain always says, well, flatten it, now you just need to get the angle perfect, you're done. Positive, negative, you're done. But could be negative, of course, if the shooter's above the target. But one could imagine a scenario where you do want it angled up and you just need to go relative to that. So we do need to do both ways. Let's work on the flat one first. And so this is the flattening. Okay, so we can simplify this, I think. We can get both, and then we can say rigid bad force direction, and we can just say if we're flattening and we do the flat, otherwise we do the forward direction times speed, and then I think we zombie code this and this and this, and let's just see if we didn't break everything, and that should make it a lot easier to move forward. Okay, and then we turn off the flat, and then it goes forward. Okay, so it's working. Good. Now we've simplified the code, and delete all this other junk. That's much shorter. I like it. All right. Launch angle is never used, so we'll delete that. All right, so now we need to update this to we're going to do a new chat so it doesn't inherit all the random conversation we had just had. I don't want it to inherit that this time. All right. This code works great. However, I need to compute the angle that we should fire at to hit a specific target. If we can't hit the target, given the speed and positions, return float, not a number. This will be a static method. I will pass in the rigid body, which is the projectile itself, the target position we want to hit, and the speed of the projectile. It should return back a Are we going to pass in the rigid body, or are we going to pass in a direction? Let's pass in the direction. The vector 3 direction the projectile is facing, the target position, and the speed of the projectile. Back a new direction. Which augments only the... Oh shit, is there gonna need to be an option augmenting the other? Ah, fuck. Okay, I'll talk this through. So in my head, I'm thinking, well, I'm just firing, I need to know, up, down, that's what I need to augment. But let's imagine a spaceship game, right? Where instead of I'm watching myself go like this now, it's funny. Instead of an arrow, now we're just gonna say, okay, you know what, we're gonna be a little bit more forgiving to the player, and as long as you're close enough, we're gonna nudge the trajectory in the right direction, because oftentimes players are gonna be like, I'm a little bit off, and so you just want to be nudged a little bit. So sometimes sometimes you might augment it on the X or Z. Or the Y and the X. So I guess it's just the X. Now, in some cases, we may only want to augment the up-down angle, like an archer. And in other cases, we may be okay with augmenting the left-right angle, like perhaps a spaceship, or both. So we need bools to, or a way, we'll just say a way to specify which angles to augment. The method should return a new vector 3 direction to use. All right, let's see if I explained that properly. Direction mode. Alright, well, let's copy it, put it in our utilities. Compute direction to hit target. Compute, not compute. Okay. Var final direction equals this. Is that what we need to pass in? Doesn't look like it. What do we need to pass in? We need to pass in our initial position we are passing in our spawn position. Target position is going to be target position equals projectile dot spar dot target dot position. Target position. I think we have a property for that. No. Okay. Dot transform. Oops. Dot position plus. Target offset. So if instead of the feet you wanted in the middle of the body or something. Currently I'm not adding any wobbling. This doesn't add any wobbles at the moment. We're going to add the wobbles later. And in this version, the wobble actually doesn't get added to the shot. Instead of adding a wobble to the shot like we did with the kind of lobbing one, we're computing that difference, that inaccuracy on the target. So right now we're going to just shoot the target. Shooting the target position. Target offset to bring it up so you know, something like that. And target offset is on this script, I believe. And then the wobble will be added later. We're going to do another, but we're going to get this working first. Yep. All right. Target position. So let's use that target position down here. Next is speed, and then direction. And that's going to be our initial direction equals that. Whoops. So here we will just temporarily move that. Initial direction is incorrect. Why doesn't it want to take in our initial direction? Why don't you need the initial direction? Don't you need to know the direction it's currently facing? You know, one day we're going to look back and laugh at all these silly early AIs. Alright. Where's my utilities? I'm going to move my utilities a little bit over here. Alright. Now we are doing initial position, initial direction. Whoop, wrong button. Target position. Yep. Initial speed and direction mode. Now, what's direction mode? Okay, we're gonna have to do some new options here. Public bool. God. Alright, we gotta do enums, right? I always forget how to do enums. Enum. Is that right? No. What is it? I always forget this. need an enum that includes left, right, up, down, and both, or all directions. I'm going to make sure up, down is first, because I think that's going to be the most common use. Oh, lowercase enum. I was close. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to type it in, get some muscle memory. Up in here, up in there. Public enum, direction mode, or angle direction mode, angle mod mode. It's going to be up, down, left, right, and all directions. And then we're going to do a public angle mod mode, angle mod mode. We're going to start with left, up, down as default. All right, there we go. And then in our thing, we're going to pass in our angle mod mode, and in our utilities, we're going to take a angle mod mode. And why did everything? Okay. Switch angle mod mode. Oh, that was a suggestion? Alright, this must be a new behavior from the AI. Oh, yes, I want to do that. Okay, that's why I was going all gray. Okay. Alright, so now we should do that, and now we're going to pass the final direction in there. Okay, and let's do a debug.log initial direction, final direction. Okay, let's try it out, yo. Ooh, coffee. I haven't been drinking this coffee. Ooh, how do I open it? I'm gonna make a mess, I think, as I pour this. Oh, I didn't make a mess, just dribbled a little. Just a little dribble among friends, right? Oh, that mug does not keep it hot. It's warm enough, but it's not hot. Damn it. I missed my mug that I've been using for years. I don't even know how many years. Alright, initial direction, final direction. And what's with the where's he even going? The speed must be immense. Something's not right. All right, let's revert to the initial direction. Just make sure. Yep. All right, so why do we need to normalize it? Okay. Which AI were we using? I think this one. Okay. Let's give it the new. Here is the new method. Now, the issue is I think the issue is that we may need to normalize the final direction. This code, the debug shows as an example. I think we just need to normalize it. That's my guess. Alex Trebek. Really? So it's basically telling me that the speed is the issue here. Let's test it. Because the method includes the speed, so start with the target. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So it's only doing up down. Okay, and then if we don't flatten the angle, it's still working. Okay. Now if we change this to all directions, and even though I'm facing this, it's still going there. All right. So that's the issue. So interesting. I learned a thing. So I see. All right, I should put some notes here. Thanks. Confuse direction and hit target base in this. Note, it will return a direction that has speed included in it. You do not need to multiply this by speed. Don't be like me. All right. I think we got it. I think we got it. I think we got it. So we should also do a new option. So now as it moves left and right, we are trying our damnedest to hit it, but we're only modifying on the left and right. And then if I change this to all directions, then we're trying our darndest to hit it regardless. That's amazing. All right, fucking shit, yes. All right, we need to add one more option to this directions thing for none. The none option. None is always an option, so none. And then we need to add that to our utilities. I don't know exactly. I'm gonna ask the AI. I've added a none option to the enum. All right. Is it just taking this delta direction or something? It's one of those two. Maybe the initial direction. Okay. Perfect. Scale the new direction by the speed. There you go. That's where it was doing that. All right. So now, if you then turn this to none, so this is where you can be like, oh, and now this is just an example of something someone could do. We're shooting the arrow. We're not modifying anything, and then you can be like, oh, you're close enough to the target. Then we're going to do. We're gonna help you out if you're close. So right now it's just gonna do it, but let's say it doesn't do it, but then you're close enough so it does it. We can actually build that into this. So the question is, do I build that into this? Or do I make that a new version? I think I just build it into this. Because right now it's 360 degrees, so like it's kind of silly if we have all directions set and we're facing the wrong way, right? It's like that. It's kind of silly. That works in some cases. You might have like a fixed gun emplacement, turret, laser that just goes in any direction, you know. Oh, interesting. Ooh, so I'm just now I'm thinking like imagine a laser turret on the ground. The turret doesn't rotate. It can shoot in any direction, 360 degrees around, but only up. It's on the ground. It can't shoot down. So if it's on a cliff, it can't see the target directly. It can't shoot the target because it's a direction thing. You know what that would be? That would be a modification of the script. We don't need to go that deep. That's over-engineering it. That would be like, oh, you have that system, create a new class that inherits from this, and then modification to ensure that it can see the target before it does it. Something like that. All right, so now we need to confirm something, though. So if we take our player, are they going to fall down? Oops. They are. Okay, so let's create a platform for our player. And this is going to be, all right, say that big. All right, let's put our player on top of it. Press play. Move blue player up and over. Okay. Now, okay, good. That's good. I wanted to make sure that we got the left. There we go. Okay, so now, just because I think about my game, it's first person, so you don't have this whole angle. It's always going to fire from the same spot, basically underneath the camera. So the rest doesn't matter. And for mine, it's not, you're not going to be, like, you're going to select the the bad guy on the screen. It could be off to the side, but if you click it, it's going to fire that direction. So I'm going to control that myself. But for an FPS or something third person, you know, or FPS or something, you're going to have that barrel, and then you might not want the left and right motion, or you might want a lower motion. So the question is then, do we add here a very simple max mod? Like, okay, don't modify it more than 3 degrees. Don't modify it more than 10 degrees. So that, you know, you can, that's where you just help the player out a little bit. You know, like, players aren't always super accurate with their aiming, so you kind of just nudge them in the right direction. I think that might be a derived class from this, or is it? Because you can just set it to 0. Here's the full updated method. I want to add a max mod so that when the angle is angle we need to modify to hit the target is greater than this value, we do not modify it. This also needs to take in a angle mod mode, since we may choose to only apply this to one direction, or both, or none, i.e. no effect. Hopefully that makes sense. Did I freeze? Or I was just looking down. That's what my eyes look like when I look down. I guess that's just what my eyes look like when I look down. Now I know. Okay, AI assistant. Okay. So let's do new one. New version. Does the same thing. This one has more parameters. Let's let writer format it. Okay. Okay, and then we will go back to this, and we will put up here public float max mod angle equals 10f, and then public angle mod mode max mod angle mode equals all directions. And for this we're going to do public no, range 0f to 180, I guess, because it's never going to be more than 180 away, right? If it's perfectly behind you, then it's 180. Okay, and then in our thing we're going to pass in those things. So we're passing in that. What is your take? Do you prefer to put the commas in the front or in the back when you do a column view like this? I like doing it in the front. Max mod angle and max mod angle mode. Okay, so now when we fire our arrow, it should fire straight until we get close to it. Did you see that? Okay, let's change this debug. Not this button here. This button should be toggle motion, and then we should do speed. So we're going to do new for our target. I added the toggle yesterday because I wanted to be able to stop it. But now I need to change the speed. So public void sets. How did it know? How did it fucking know that we were going to do that? Because that was the obvious next choice? Probably. Almost certainly. So we're gonna add a new UI. What is it? Is it a scroll bar? Slider. Target speed. Why is it there? Shouldn't it be? Yeah, there it is. It's a grid, after all. I guess we should do a new UI text. Target speed. Text. Target speed. We'll put that above. Then this one is going to be demo target, set speed between 0 and say 20, and we're going to default to 5. Okay, so now we can make it move very slowly. Let's make our angle, our arrow. Let's make this much larger. I want to see it snapping. I'm not seeing it snapping. Don't flatten the launch angle then. Okay, there you go. Oh, but because it's not... Okay, so this limits that. So if this is up down, then this won't do all directions because this won't do all directions. So this also has to be all directions if I want to see that. There you go. So now you can see that in action. As we get far enough away, it says, screw it, we're not going to do it anymore. But if you're close enough. Okay. So now if we put this down to like 10 again, and we make the target move again, then as we go through, we're firing, then suddenly it should go and start. Okay, we need to make the target slower. Yeah. So you can see it adjust. Now the target's moving, so we keep missing. So that's the another thing. Do you add? There you go. You can see it going, and then all of a sudden it says, nope, too late, too far. All right, good. All right, so I'm happy with that. Flatten launch angle. Max mod angles, none, whatever. Okay, I'm happy. Are you happy? Oh, I did get Copilot. I believe, was it you who gave me the direction to go? But somebody, there's a preferences, I think, and I was able to confirm it's Copilot. And I think now it even says Copilot somewhere. I think I saw that the other day. Let's see. A method to move the object between points. To rotate the object. It's not saying Copilot. I thought somewhere it said Copilot. I think I was able to confidently know that I'm using Copilot for those. All right, so we're close. We now need to add that wobble and get rid of this whole lower shot angle thing, and then reorganize some stuff. So lower shot angle doesn't matter. That was old news. And now we need to get the target inaccuracy. So we need a method that takes in a position and then gets a position. So there's, okay, there's two ways you can do this. So the goal is to take a target. So you got your bad guy, your enemy, you got your enemy off in the distance. The goal is to say, okay, if this value is 1, we're going to really target a position, my position within 1 meter of that in any direction. Up, down, left, right, doesn't matter. But, oh my God. Sorry, if this stream cuts out, I apologize. I need to call my internet people. I wonder if they throttle me. I wonder if, as I've been streaming, they're like, oh, we need to throttle this internet connection or something. Because it always seems to be happening. All right, so I'm gonna end the stream, but basically, if you can hear me, we want to choose a position within X of the target, but sometimes you're going to want to get that position to be forward, back, up, down. Sometimes you only want it to be up or left and right, and you don't want it to be down because you don't want to aim at the ground, that type of thing. So we're going to have some options, but I'm going to create a static method that basically gives a new position with some options on how to compute where that position is. Yeah. Well, fuckers. I'll need to call them. I'm paying them enough money that they shouldn't be doing that. Plus, it really affects me, clearly, and it affects all of you. So, thanks for hanging out with me. I'm going to do that. That's the only other thing here. We solved the archery thing, which is neat. It's a lot easier code than I was doing last night. I mean, the big thing is this, which I wasn't going to do this myself. But this is a lot easier code than it was with all this stuff. So we're not doing that anymore. All right. Streaming in AV1. What's AV1? Maybe I won't end the stream. Am I okay? I see blur. I'm blurry to me, but that could just be YouTube having. Oh yeah, I guess I did just freeze again. All right, I'm gonna end the stream. There you go. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. I appreciate it. I will see you all on the flip side. I need to create a scene, an over thing. I don't have that, so we're just gonna go back to the starting soon one. See ya.